So we are going to spend a little bit of time tonight just talking about the realities of rejection. Now, who likes to get rejected? Yeah, nobody at all. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about, set the stage here. Tanya's going to pop in with some of the more common things that we might encounter, and then we're going to finish off each with some ideas of strategies to have in your back pocket to help you move through this, because it can be challenging. But, and there's some newbies on board tonight, but many of you, most of you, this is probably not news to you. When you come into this business, there's all kinds of excitement and there's all kinds of good things going on. And then there's this great big giant cloud of worry that can come along with it. And we have spent some training time before. We've actually taken time to talk about what we sometimes call our fears or our worries. And maybe you could even call it the worst case scenario list. And sometimes, when we're talking about this piece, you almost have to ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen? So you're putting yourself out there, you're ready to share your excitement about this opportunity and these great products and how it's going to change people's lives. And you're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when I start doing this? Am I going to get crickets? That's what we often say when you put something out there and they completely just never respond. Are they going to completely ignore you? Are they going to totally change the subject? So, the ignoring can be like the crickets, or it can be, just totally redirecting the conversation, ignoring you. Are they going to come right out and say no? Are they going to say the dreaded, that's a pyramid scheme? Are they going to say, oh my gosh, why would you do that? Did you lose your mind? Are they going to ask you a question that you can't answer? Are they going to do the dreaded unfriending you? So here's the thing, because I'm just kind of a straight shooter kind of girl. There's really no point in spending a single solitary second of your time wondering if that's going to happen. Because if you are doing network marketing the way that it needs to be done, and that means that you are putting yourself out there and you are making it a daily habit to reach out to people to say, hey, I've got this amazing opportunity and these incredible products that could totally change your life or the life of somebody that you know that needs them. So if that's how you're doing it, which is the way that you're going to be successful, you don't have to spend a single second wondering if any of those things are going to happen. Because they all are. End of. Because we spend a lot of time worrying, is this going to happen? I'm just telling you right now, it's going to happen. Those things are going to happen to you. It's a numbers game, okay? And if you are really reaching out to the number of people that we need to reach out to, if we really want to make this a gig, this is going to happen. This is part of human nature. Been there, done that. I do it, I was kind of giggling last week. I had a table at a trade fair, and I was kind of giggling at the people who were kind of, weaving to get further around from me. So I couldn't even say good morning. Like, been there, done that. This is part of human nature. So don't spend another single solitary second wondering if it's going to happen. It is. Okay. So now you have two choices. Am I going to let that stop me and slow me down and prevent me from hitting the targets that I want and having the success that I want? Or am I going to arm myself with the plan, the strategies, the mindset that helps me move through it? It's really your only two choices. I mean, if we get right down to it, that's your choice. You're either going to let it stop you, or right now you're going to decide, no, that's not a barrier. That's not going to stop me. And this is how I'm going to prevent it from stopping me. Okay? And I know that that's easier said than done. And quite frankly, like, I couldn't say that, when I started. And sometimes, like this talk that I'm giving you right now, I have to give this talk to myself, right? It's a part of, the human nature of it. Like, sometimes it's just like, oh man, I'm at a point in my business. Shouldn't this stop? Nope. Never going to stop. It's a part of the business. That's how it's going to be. So you need to figure out what you're going to do. Okay. You need to figure it out. And this is not unique to network marketing, okay? Let's be real about that. If you've worked in a restaurant and you've offered someone coffee or dessert or whatever, and they said no, that happens. It wasn't about you, right? It was about them. They didn't want more coffee. They didn't want dessert, whatever. It wasn't about you. Okay. Have you, some of us are teachers. Have any of our students ever said no to extra help? A billion times. Like, it happens. And so I don't put my head between my knees and go, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible teacher. They just said no to extra help. Happens all the time. Have you ever been to the Canadian Tire with the little people in the red shirt and the clipboard chasing you down, trying to get you to sign up for a credit card? And what have you said? No, thank you. Right. So this is, it's not just us. It is a reality of the work that we're doing. When you touch base with as many people as you need to do this well, it's going to be a part of it. So you just have to figure out, what is the way that I am going to move through this? And you have to do your own emotional check. What kind of a person am I? Okay. Now, if you've seen trainings, and some of you have, you've been on the trainings, we've talked about your list of no's. For some people, they get satisfaction from actually keeping a tally of this. Okay, I know it's going to come. I'm going to keep a tally. I'm going to have my list of no's, even my whole no book, right? So that's one way you could go about it. You could just decide, I'm just going to keep my list of no's. Maybe that's how you best operate. Maybe that's not how you best operate. Maybe you're the kind of person that has to boo-hoo. Okay, so you have to figure out what is the space and time that I'm going to boo-hoo and get it over with, right? Or for most of us, for me, it's not a boo-hoo. For me, it's a vent. So, I know who my person is that I go to, and I say, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe what happened. You know what this person did? And I say it, and then I move on, right? Like, that's how I operate. So you have to figure out how you operate. What emotionally you have to go through. Are you going to get angry? Are you going to get sad? Are you going to vent? But figure out how to say, this is me. This is how my limbic brain operates. This is where I'm going to go to emotionally. This is the reasonable amount of time to allow myself to do that. And this is what I'm going to have to make sure I move through quickly and I get beyond it and I keep going. We have to build a bridge and go over it. So figure out what your bridge is that you have to build. Predict what's the emotion that you're going to be feeling that's going to cause that bridge, so you know that it's going to be your trigger. Do it and get over it, because it happens everywhere. Okay? So I get to be the meanie and say, that's the reality. The reality is, it is what it is. It's there. There's no point in pretending it's not. Not going to lie to anybody. You are going to be faced with rejection. So identify how you're going to deal with that. What is going to be your emotional stance? What is your go-to behavior or person or action that you're going to do to move through that emotion quickly, build your bridge, and be ready for the next step? Tanya, you're going to tell us a little bit more about your thoughts on this, and I think you're even going to tell us a little more about some of the things that we're going to encounter.
Okay, perfect. So I think I'll start with some of the things we're going to encounter, and then I'm going to talk, we're just going to dig a little bit deeper into self-examination and reflection, which is kind of what Julie has started off with too, but definitely not a repeat, just additional stuff. So objections, we all know what they are. I want you to take a minute right now and think about the most common objection you've faced as an ambassador who's been with us for a while. If you're new, and you're not sure and you want to give her a go, pop one in the chat as we're talking here, because this is something that's absolutely, like, we need to be aware of what the objections are so that we know how to deal with those, right? So if I was to say, if we were to say the top 3 rejection or objections would be financial. So Erica, thank you. So you guys know the answers, right? There are the top 3 that we face. And objection is, financial is huge. Money, time, and not a seller. Absolutely. Yeah. Those are the top 3. And how you posture yourself, how you talk to people, and how you share your story can actually impact those objections substantially. If you posture your story so that you address objectives before, as people they haven't thought of them yet. They're just reading your story, and you're addressing things like financial, things like time, things like, you know, I don't have a business degree. I don't sell stuff. If you can find a way to posture yourself to do that, that's fantastic. And one of the things that we work on is called our elevator speech. If you haven't heard that term yet, it's basically just a 30-second to 1 minute blurb whereby you can stand up at any given moment in person or online and give your story. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when Krista tells her story, it's unique and authentic each time. And I've heard her tell her story more than anyone else, okay? Because no one on Plexus is prospecting me. But not that she is, but I just hear her share her story with others more often. And when she does, the same facts are always there, and the same emotional pulls are always there. And she always addresses those three things every single time. So I would challenge you to find yourself, research, go on YouTube and, you know, research elevator speech and craft your elevator speech. And that might be another exercise for another time for training as well, whereby we can all craft them together and we can pop them in the chat and everyone can talk about them and share them. That might be a really useful exercise for all of us. Julie, can you write that down? Thank you. So let's talk about the objections. There's more than 3. And I do use notes. I'm a note taker and note user. So here they go. Sorry, guys. Time. Somebody asks you, or they say to you, well, that all sounds fine, but I just don't have time for that right now. And that is a very common objection. So, you know, Eric Worre, Ray Higdon, Bob Heilig, and Plexus ambassadors who are top leaders will say to you that you need to come back with that with a question. And a lot of our objections, we go back with a question. Questions keep the conversation going. Statements don't, right? For some people, people who like to argue will gladly respond to a statement. People who want to know more and who maybe are feeling like you have something of value to give them will answer your question, okay, quicker. So how much time do you think you need? It's a very simple question back, but it's very legitimate, very authentic. And talking to them about, you know, the top leaders in my company are some of the busiest people I've ever met. And busy people get stuff done. And that's a really simple way to respond to that type of objection. And I get that this might not be for you, but I just want you to know that the busiest people get stuff done. Now, so money, let's talk about money. People think they're going to have to sink a lot of money into this, because when people think traditional business, they think losing thousands of dollars before I can make a red cent, or, you know, borrowing from everybody so that I can buy a loaf of bread for my family. So people need to understand the perks of network marketing, and specifically with Plexus. We don't have to hold inventory. We don't have a high startup cost. Hello, $44 in Canada, $34.95 in the US. We do not have to have parties, but we often have, you know, informal like get-togethers with friends and stuff, like we did on the island this past Saturday, and that was actually really fun. But we don't have to do any of that stuff. There's no minimums, there's no quotas. We don't have that issue because we are the storefront for our company. And so we can choose to operate our businesses in the way that we see fit, in the sense that we can run as, you know, far to the wall with parties and that kind of thing, or not at all. And lastly, I would ask them, and this is an Eric Worre thing. This is this is none of that. I'm not making any of this up. Okay. Honestly, I wish that I had, because it's really good stuff. But if money wasn't an issue, would you want to jump in and join me? If money wasn't an issue, would you find this network marketing thing to be appealing to you? What is appealing to you about this opportunity? What would be appealing to you about this opportunity if money weren't an issue? There's so many ways to ask that question. And to me, that's a really powerful one to talk to people about the money piece about, if that makes sense. It wasn't very good English. Hey, Julie, would you mind muting everybody for me? I don't have controls here. All right. And the other thing is, depending on who you're talking to, and You have to look at who you're talking to. So if you're comfortable, no, sorry, I used the word comfortable. Even if you're not comfortable, somebody whom you know well, you could even ask them the question, if your finances are tight and you're literally running out of money halfway to your next paycheck, you need this. Bold statement, so true. If your finances are so tight that, insert here, or just if your finances are incredibly tight, you need this opportunity, okay? Here's another one. I don't want to bother my friends. And that's when I would respond with a question again. What makes you think that we're in the business of bothering our friends? Am I bothering you right now? Ask them, am I bothering you right now? And if they say yes, then you'll go down a different path with them and you'll say, listen, not my intention at all. I'm really sorry that you feel that way. Let's move on. Let's talk about something else. Okay. But most people are going to say, well, no, you're not bothering me right now. They say, well, this is exactly what we do. We share products and opportunity, like Julie was saying earlier, with people that we care about, people whom we know need it or need the opportunity. Okay. So, we present products and opportunity to people, and, you're in the right place in the right time right now to join us. Okay. Or to join me. Okay. I don't know enough people, or my network's not big enough. Okay. So right away, I would say, you know what? I know exactly how you feel, but can we do a little exercise together? I'm going to do a little memory jogger with you right now and challenge them. I challenge you to make a list and send them in your success kit. There's a guide on how to create your network. I know on our team page the other day, Tammy had posted a few pictures of that to help people along who are new on our team. Look in your new success kit. There are 101 ways that you can reach out to people about growing their network. Get some ideas from there. Be creative. Be yourself about that piece. But let people know you're building your network as you grow in your life. So when you move from community to community, when you change jobs, when your kids get older and join different activities, when you expand your horizons and join a new community organization, and so on and so on and so on. When new people move into your work that are new in your life and you meet them and you become friends with them, that's building your network constantly in real life. And let them know, you know what, we grow our networks and we teach our people how to grow their networks. And that is a huge part of this. Okay. Another objection. I'm not a salesperson. That was mentioned at the beginning. So there's the question, why do you think you need to be a salesperson? So right now, I'm not being a salesperson with you. Right now, I'm sharing something with you that I think would be incredible for you. We just want to help people feel better and do well. And we do this completely with that intention. And, and you could even go into the conversation about, you know what? I had a pedicure before I went on a trip, and I had the best girl I've ever had. And the hour just flew by. I wish it hadn't been over. Right. And you mentioned the girl's name. Do you do that? Yep. Do you eat at that new sushi restaurant and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so great? Yep, you do. So really important to let people know we're in the business of sharing, and we're not in the business of spamming, and we're not in the business of turning people off. So it's not the right time for me right now. Again, question, when do you think the perfect time is going to be? When is that going to be for you? And talk to them about why the right time is now. We have so many things we can tell people about why the right time is now. We're just launching in a new company. We are in a new country. We have incredible products that have been endorsed by Health Canada. We have natural health numbers for those. We have products that people need. We have an opportunity that people need. You need to speak that belief through yourself all the time so that it comes out of your voice. I'm gonna talk about Erica Allen. She's on the call right now. She did a trade show on the weekend, and a lady said to her, she was a nurse, and she said to her, wow, like your passion and love for this company and these products just comes through in what you're saying. And like, she just was blown away by Erica. And that's because she postured herself that way. Right. And we need to do that even this way or this way. We need to do it all the time. Okay. And then the last one, which is our favorite, is this a pyramid scheme? You know what? I always ask people, like, what do you mean? Like, what's a pyramid scheme? Like, kind of play dumb a little bit. I mean, we know what people think they are, and we know what we aren't. So, say, you know what, those are illegal. And that's like, we actually have products and people buy them, and, we all can get ahead together. And my person that I could sign you up and you could outrank me and make more money than me. That's not a pyramid scheme, because that would not have a shape to it. And we have products that we exchange for, we have services or products that we exchange for money. So all that said, I've given you some tools, and you know what? There's 101 amazing videos on objections and multi-level marketing, and some are Plexus specific, some are just in general. I would encourage you to watch as many of them as you can on YouTube. You'll find them everywhere. Just type in MLM objection or Plexus objections, stuff like that. And you're going to get some really, really great videos. But one thing I mentioned, posturing yourself and belief and all that. I just want to leave you with a couple things before I send it back to Julie. I want you to think about these things. Okay. Are you a solution seeker? Are you a solution seeker? So that means, do you just complain about the things that aren't working? Do you just, are you negative? Or are you trying to find a way around something? Are you, okay, so I'm not good at, I'm going to give you one. I'm not good at math. Guess who had to teach math this morning? This girl. They couldn't find a supply teacher to cover this math class, this brilliant math teacher, by the way, I'm like, math, like he's the math guy. Anyway, I walked in there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to teach math because I had to. So my solution was, I could have stood there and go, I can't believe this, and I'm losing my prep, and I have to teach math, and I was going to use this hour to do something else, and blah. No, I decided. I looked at my principal walked in, she asked me to do it, and I went, point and click, you just show me where to go. So I went up and I taught the math class, and by darn it, I was doing all these graph things, and I figured out this algebra stuff, and I was on fire. The kids were laughing their heads off at me because I was doing math. And before that, I was like, oh, I don't do math. And like some of you may have heard me say, I am not a numbers girl. And that's something that I would complain about instead of solving the problem. So now I teach math and music, apparently. So instead of, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this, I'm not, you know what? What's that going to do for you? Right? So, I can't prospect. I can't do that. I can't reach out to people. No. You can. You have to decide that you're a solution seeker. Your actions that you do are going to promote more belief and more positive thoughts about you and what you're doing. Okay. So action, belief, thoughts in that order. Okay. We're connecting with people. We are not convincing people, right? So build the relationship. You need to keep talking to people. And you know what? Right out of the gate about Plexus with a friend who you know really well works. If you've just added someone on Facebook, and then you PM them, hey, so great to connect. You got to join my team. They're going to be like, unfriend, block, like they're done with you. It's over, okay? You got to get to know people first. Be intentional about that. And the prospecting will be so easy. Be intentional about building the relationship. Don't be defensive when someone objects. They're not rejecting you, like Julie said. Don't be defensive. Be offensive. Help them find a solution to their objection, which is what those tips were for before. And then I want you to think about something else. Okay, this is totally unrelated to objection, but it's something that I've been thinking an awful lot about. When you do your business, it does not matter how fast you rank up. It does not matter how many customers you have. If you are doing all of these things, it's going to happen for you, and it may not happen like lightning speed. We may not be double diamonds in a year, okay? That's the reality. But I want to tell you something. If you are comparing yourself and looking this way and looking this way, but you're not looking this way, then you won't grow. So I'm going to read something to you. I got this from Sarah Marble. Comparison is the thief of joy. Don't do it. Don't look at Freedom Revolution and go, oh, so-and-so is like leaderboard potential this week. They've got they had just added 8 people in the last 3 days. Good for them. Welcome all their people to the team. love on them, you know, rally around them, be one plexus. That's going to fill you up way more than, oh, woe is me, right? Don't look this way. Don't look this way. Look straight ahead. And I think that's it. That's all I have to say. Pass it back to you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, you know, how do you top that? But I do have a few more things that I think I can add it to, because when we started out, we said, I'm going to be very real that, you know, we're going to encounter these things. Tanya's just been very real. She's been like, this is literally examples of what you're going to encounter. And then she has filled us up again with, so this is what you do. Here are some more things that are really, really, really important. Some of which I undervalued. And now I know how important they are. So Tanya touched on belief, and you have to build belief. So if you are going to be able to build the bridge to get over whatever rejection or hurt or whatever happened when it didn't go the ideal way, you have to be able to fall back on your belief. And there's 4 things that you are building, 4 belief pillars. Belief in our products. That's the easiest one. You just need to read testimonies, okay? If you're newer to it and you haven't yet gotten your personal story, or you're not completely enthralled by your sponsors or someone you care about, their personal story, then your job, your first job, is to go and read testimonials. They will build your belief. Let me tell you something else. You want to go on Opportunity to Hope and watch the live Zoom that Tanya facilitated last Wednesday? That'll build your belief, baby. Let me tell you that. Okay. So you have belief in the products. Okay. Belief in the company. Well, that comes partly from the products, but it also comes from the compensation plan. It comes from how Alec and Taro posture themselves when they speak. It comes from all the energies that have been put into launching into Canada in a really ethical, proper, professional way. There's all kinds of ways you can build belief in this company. Just amazing. Just amazing. You need to build belief in network marketing as a viable profession. And that actually should be easier now than it even was a few years ago, because it's everywhere. But you build your belief in network marketing by not trying to steer away from it or be scared. What did I get myself into? But by looking at the Ray Higdons and the Eric Warways and all those people, like, this is legitimate. This is how people are making their lives be what they want them to be it time freedom, be it the financial freedom, you know, whatever it is. So you need to build your belief in network marketing as a viable profession. And you also need to build your belief, this is the hardest one, in yourself. And that be yourself as someone who knows about products. That might be yourself as how to do this biz. It might be yourself as a network marketer. There's all kinds of ways you have to build yourself up. It might be how to build yourself as a communicator, right? You have to build your belief in yourself, because all of that comes through when you communicate to people, okay? So you have to be constantly building on that belief. And if those pillars of belief are strong, when somebody says, no, Julia, it's just not for me, it's so much easier to go, okay, and on to the next person. It truly is. So strategy number 1 is build your belief. All 4 of them. Number 2, positive mindset is critical. If you cannot posture yourself with a positive mindset, you are going to struggle. That's all there is to it. Now, here's the thing about positive mindset, because I am a really positive person. Okay. And people keep saying that, holy, you know, like, what all you've been through, how can you be so positive? It's a choice that I make every single day. It's not a difficult choice for me, because that's how I operate. So I don't even feel like it's a choice anymore. I did tonight when I got really ugly at my husband. I made a choice to be positive. So there are times when I choose, but most of the time it's just the way I operate. So if that is not your mode of operation, then that has to be something you need to train yourself to do. And you can do that in a gazillion ways. Follow really positive people. You can have those apps that have the positive thing that comes up in the morning, you know, listen to music that fills you with joy. Find your favorite book and read a chapter of it before you go to work in the morning. Whatever it takes to fill you up with that positivity, make that who you are as a person. Make that your automatic response to be a positive person, okay? And part of this comes from positive affirmations. And Tanya and I both will tell you the same thing. When we first saw the IPA sheets, the first ones that we saw way back when, and that is your income producing activity sheet. So it was like, this is how you do your business. The first thing on the list in the version that we first saw was positive affirmations. And we both thought that was hooey and we skipped it. Okay. It is not hooey. I am telling you, I am a positive person. I posture myself positively. I still need positive affirmations. I do. So you can decide if you have 3 of them and you say the same ones every day. You can make a list of 12 and pick from them. You can have a whole book of them if you like Mark does, right? Whatever it takes. But you need to actually make the time to decide what are those positive statements that I can go back to and hear if I've recorded them on my device, or read them if I've jotted them down somewhere, and they are going to fill me up. They are really, really, really critical. Okay? So do not undervalue the power of positive affirmations. Go, Tanya. You were interrupting?
Can I read mine?
Please, go for it. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, so I used to wonder, even like, I used to think, well, I can't find a Bible verse that I want to use. And then I realized I don't have to use Bible verses if I don't want to. That's how absolutely green I was about positive affirmations. Okay. So these are mine. I am Ruby in Plexus Worldwide. My team wants to share Plexus. People are attracted to my business, and business builders are attracted to my business. That's it. And I say them to myself in the mirror every day. Julie just ran away. I scared her. But those are mine. And I literally read them out loud, and I look at myself in the mirror, and I make myself look at myself. I don't look up there. I don't look over there. I don't look at like peripheral back vision. I actually read those to myself every day. And I would encourage you guys to think about your next goal, not your like overall goal, but your next goal. Like, where do you want to be next? What do you want it to look like? Who do you want to be with you? How do you want people to see you as a Plexus business owner? Like, do you want people to follow you? Do you want to grow a big team? Do you want business builders to be attracted to you? All those types of things. Those are really, really important. And Angela just wrote, making a dream board can really, sorry, I'm not seeing the rest of it. Keep a positive mindset as well. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Dream boards are amazing. And there's actually lots of YouTube videos on those as well, if you want to check one of those out, and specific to Plexus too. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted, but I just thought, you know what? Sometimes it's nice to hear what someone else's affirmations are.
No, I'm really glad you did, because it is exactly useful, and the dinger rang, so it was perfect. And for those of you who are involved in organizations that have written vision statements, it's the same thing, right? Your mission statement is why you exist. Your vision statement is where do I want to be in 5 years? And if you're really employing that to move your organization forward, you have exactly that. Pictured, imagined, drawn out, envisioned what it's going to look like. So that's what Tanya's referring to. It's fabulous. The third piece that I undervalued was your why. Okay. And your why is going to evolve. And I am reading another book right now that this is bigger than just network marketing, this whole why business, right? Like, that's what I was working in a school today, helping them build a mission statement. And ultimately it's all about the why. You know, why do we exist as an organization? What gets me out of bed every day? The why in network marketing is incredibly important for a number of reasons. First of all, if you live it and you act it and it breathes through you, then people are attracted to you, right? They understand why you're doing this. You don't have to really explain it to them, because the why does that for you. But in this context, the reason the why is so critical is it moves you through. It's what helps you build that bridge when you need it. It's what moves you through that emotional response that is built in us. That limbic brain again, we are emotionally built to back off from rejection, and your why is incredible, and your why goes really deep. And I'm telling you, I went through the process, and some of you heard when we read the book, Get Over Your Damn Self. She encouraged us in the book to go through this really deep why writing process, and I did it. And holy jeepers, huge. Okay. And it wasn't until I wrote a why that really got to the core of why I need this. It makes me cry. It makes Tanya cry. Like it's a really powerful why. And when I am not wanting to prospect or I'm feeling rejected or whatever, and I read that over, I have no choice but to go on. That's what that why does for me. There's just no doubt about it. I cannot read that and let those barriers stop me. I can't, because it's more powerful. It's more powerful than any person's opinion, which really shouldn't count anyway, because it's really not about me, it's about them. But even in those emotional times when the limbic brain takes over and we take rejection as personal, even though it's really about them, not about us, that really deep why that's at my core, it's nothing. It's not a match. It's no contest. Put down your swords. It wins every time. So you have to dig really deep. And if you're not sure how to about going doing that, I'll share with you. Just message me and I'll share with you what Romy suggested. It's like a 4-step process you go through, and it's incredible. It's incredible. And then my last one is, and this is a little harder if you're a newbie and you haven't had any yeses yet, but those, I think pretty much most of us on here have had that wonderful experience of the yes. And I want you to envision and go back into what that felt like to get the yes. Okay. And as much as the no hurts, the yes, like I literally have in my house jumped up and down before, because I'm just so excited. Like and people can hear it in my voice and how fast I'm typing. And, it's just so incredible when someone understands, or they don't yet understand and they're willing to jump in anyway. And you're like, oh my gosh, this person's going to change their life. Like it just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So we live in a world that does not value and appreciate delayed gratification. That's the problem. We live in a world that expects everything to be instantaneous. And we're really doing ourselves and our society a disservice by promoting that. And so people hold on to delayed gratification, because man, does it feel good. And those yeses, when they come, they can sustain you for a long, 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 long time. So when it happens, love it. Let it move through you. Do your dance, do your joy, do your shout out to your accountability partner, shout out on your team page, do all that, and remember how great it feels, because all those no's and crickets and what were you thinking, Julie, and unfriending that's going to happen in between, they're no match. They're no match. It actually, those yeses, they're fewer and far between, but they're way, way, way more powerful. So when you get it, love it, feel it, remember it, ooze it into your pores so that you can go back to that when you need it. Anything you want to add to that list, Tanya?
No, I think we covered it. That's good.
Awesome. I'm just peeking here if there were any questions in the chat, or anybody is certainly welcome to unmute themselves and shout it out. I'm just going to take a peek here and see if...
Hi, Julie.
Hi. I can see you and hear you, Helen.
Question about, you can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'd like to ask the question I've just had recently. Someone say to me that they Googled plexus and it's nothing but negative.
Yep.
And as much as I tried to dig myself out of that, it always leaves that in the back of your mind, that why isn't that removed, that accelerator thing from 10 years ago?
There's a number of reasons. One of them is that we all hit on it to look at it, including those of us that didn't really want, didn't want to believe it, but we're like, is that really there? Is that really true? So there are, just like there are algorithms on Facebook, there are algorithms with Google. So you have two things that are fighting against us. One, the algorithms that mean the sites that are more often visited carry more weight in those searches. And two are the paid ones. Okay. And chances are, if someone Googles plexus, they're going to encounter all kinds of paid links first. And those are primarily competitors. And then you have on top of that third piece, which is the fact that human nature, like how often do we shout out when something's great versus how often we complain when it doesn't go well? I mean, it doesn't take very long. You can watch your Facebook, you can attend a town hall meeting, you can, go to your PTA meeting, whatever. Like
The bad news gets faster.
It does. So, basically, I usually give a heads up. When people say I got to do my research, I'm like, what do you mean by that? And I literally say, I'm going to tell you right now, if you go Google Plexus, you're gonna think I'm nuts, because you're gonna see the exact opposite of what I'm saying. And then I contextualize for them. I teach them about how Google works. And then I say, you tell me what kind of research you'd like. Like, do you want to hear it from someone else? Do you want to read something else? I mean, we have so much now in our virtual office for shareables and stuff. Like, that's just incredible, right? Like, ask them literally what they're looking for.
The comeback for that, the lady that I spoke with said, well, the only other people that I can speak to that has good things to say about Plexus are ambassadors. There's no one else to answer that question. So
can I interject just for a sec?
Sure.
Helen, when people, it doesn't happen often anymore that people, A, people just don't tell me, or B, they're heeding my advice and they're Googling ingredients instead of Plexus.
Okay.
So like chromium, alpha lipoic acid, grapeseed extract, New Zealand green lip mussel, whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it. That's the A part. But the B part is this. I tend to respond with humor a lot. So when someone says to me, I Googled it and holy crap, I just found out that it's like, skunk swill or something. Like, people will say these things. What my response is usually, I said, oh my gosh, you're hilarious. I said, you didn't Google Plexus, did you? And then I'll say, did you Google water? And now I wouldn't necessarily say that to a stranger, but to somebody with whom I've been having a conversation, I would, because that's been my tone all the way through it. So for me, I get past it with humor, but I would advise you, like, the same with because that's an objection, right? Don't posture yourself with being defensive, and don't make excuses for but I once we had a sip and see at Barb's house, and a lady said, I just got to address the elephant in the room. I said, oh my gosh, what is it? Right in the middle of the presentation, the room was full, like there was 20 people there. And I said, okay, what is it? And she said, what is this Plexus Slim review? And I was like, I took my PowerPoint down and we searched it, and the big screen TV was on the wall, and I had my computer there, and we just searched it. And I clicked through the whole thing and showed her, because this guy wants you to buy that.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
I did bring that up to her, that's what I found when I Googled, that in most cases that's what it was, but I just left it. I just left it. I didn't want to argue with her.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I mean, there's so many different ways.
That's a good one though. Humor. I'm going to remember that. Do you ever Google water? Okay. I got that one. Thanks.
And the reality is that sometimes they're saying those things even though they may not have even Googled. I'm not saying she did, but sometimes people will say that they haven't, or they'll come up with these ridiculous things. Like, you're having a hard time finding someone who has used Plexus that doesn't have positive things to say about it. That's really cool. I'd throw that right back at them. Oh, you're having a hard time finding someone who actually used Plexus to say something negative about it? Huh. That kind of correlates with our 1% return rate.
Yes. Which I got today. A brand new ambassador came back from a couple of years ago.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Cool.
So everything else in the chat is just building up and celebrating things. So that's great. Thanks to everybody who contributed to the chat, and really appreciate that everybody logged on tonight. It's so nice to have everybody come out and put our heads together. And it's lovely to see your faces. And I encourage everybody who kept their screen off tonight My challenge for you is next time, let's see your face too, because it's really just nice. Like we have kids, we have pets. Like oftentimes you see a half naked man like walking behind me. Like this is our reality. So don't let that be a barrier to communicating with us, because I'll say it again and again, and Tanya will stand with me that I say it all the time. A lot of where we draw from to keep going is this. It is the community. It is others who are in it with us, real people who we talk to and read about and talk with on Facebook. But these Zooms, they're really great because it's an opportunity to actually see the faces and hear the voices and say, yeah, these are real people that are doing this with me and living the same thing I am. So thanks so much for being a part of that community and coming out, and happy prospecting. Have a great night, everyone.